What do you ascribe the run-up to thus far?
You know, like three factors at the same time. One is Facebook's announcement of Libra. And in a really simple way, one of the largest companies in the world said, we believe in cryptocurrencies. And not just Facebook, but MasterCard, Visa, Uber, PayPal, all joined on this consortium to say, hey, this is going to be part of the financial infrastructure and the consumer infrastructure of the world. And so if you're an institutional investor who was getting close and still worried about investing, it makes you that much more confident. And so we're seeing institutions move into the space. Right. And this whole run wasn't institutions, it's people front-running them. But it's also China. A huge amount of the volumes of what's going on in Bitcoin and other currencies is coming out of Asia. And it's capital flight from China. It is harder and harder to get money out legally from China if you're Chinese. They've got an apparatus that's cracking down and looking at all their...
So you're arguing they're doing it illegally?
Oh, yeah. Certainly. A lot of the money leaving China is capital flight.
Illegal capital flight via Bitcoin?
Out of China, certainly.
Okay, but doesn't that... I mean, I want to drill down into all the things you just talked about, but doesn't that represent a problem if effectively Bitcoin is still being used illicitly? By the way, whether you think that China should have different laws that should allow capital flights is a different question. But doesn't it suggest that governments, and we've talked about this so many times on this show this week, the idea that historically governments have liked to have control of their currency, and this upends that? And why don't we think that long-term governments are going to somehow step in and say,
listen, we have a
this.
whole casino industry in Macau that was broadly set up to take money out of China and wash it and move it offshore. And so the dollar itself, right, there are more $100 bills in circulation than there are ones because people use it as a store of wealth abroad. And so none of these systems are going to be foolproof, period.
Separately, sounds like you've actually been selling at this price.
I sold a little bit yesterday. I wish I sold a lot. Listen, when
a lot because you don't think it's going back to 14,000?
No, I think we're going to be in a range between 10,000 and 14,000. I think we put a tradable top in yesterday. It was parabolic. It was a frenzy. You know, two of the exchanges couldn't handle the volume. They got shot down. If you just read your crypto Twitter, it was, you know, the testosterone.
Don't you think 4,000? That ship has sailed. Andrew's never getting in at 4,000.
You're not getting in at 4,000.
Ever.
I think we're going to be 10,000, 14,000.
How do you value it? Is it? Andrews used the notion that what it costs to mine, you use that value. I've seen other people look at the entire network, look at it like a network like Amazon, try to figure out what each one is worth, and it comes out to 13 or 14,000.
You know, I wish I was that smart. I think of this as a proxy for gold, and as more people adopt Bitcoin and get comfortable with it.
Why do you think a fiat on fiat, like the Facebook it's a fiat currency based on a fiat currency? Why do you need it? Why do you need it to back it with the dollar if you've got blockchain, which has inherent value? I don't get it.
I think the dollar used to be backed by silver, right? We had silver certificates, and once people learned to trust it, they pulled the silver away. And I think you'll probably see the same thing in something like the Libra coin.
They'll pull it away. That the whole business model is based on that, isn't it?
It's based on it until people just realize, hey, we trust this thing, right? Currencies are about trust.
Bitcoin people already believe that with Bitcoin.
Bitcoin people do, but Bitcoin's not going to be a currency because of its volatility. And so to be a currency, you can't have high volatility, and you can't have a fixed supply. It's just too easy to...
You've talked about Libra and Facebook, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Mark Zuckerberg was at the Aspen Ideas Festival yesterday, and here's what he said about the collaboration around Facebook's new cryptocurrency project, Libra, and his company's power in overseeing it all.
Building a financial system is not the kind of thing that a company can do by itself, right? So that, again, you know, we helped and played a role in helping to stand this up, but the Libra Association is an independent organization, and you know, we will have one vote in it. Out of, you know, by the time it launches, hopefully we will have 100 co-founding companies, and we'll be one of the voices.
And let me just add one thing to that, which is you just said that this is going to get people interested in crypto. All of those companies that are involved in this haven't effectively said we're going to start accepting Bitcoin. They've said we actually don't think that we can accept Bitcoin, therefore we're going to create our own. What does that say about all of this?
I think this is a step function. First, they're going to accept Libra coin. I would bet you within 18 months, Visa, MasterCard accept Bitcoin as payment.
Really? I mean, you just said that you don't think it'll be a currency.
I don't think a lot of people will use it as a currency because they think it's going up. Why would you sell your Bitcoin if you think it's going up higher?
But it goes back to the illicit idea, which is that if so much of the money is moving from China or other places, until we get to an issue, a place where we can actually see custody, there are controls on it.
There are better,
Does a MasterCard or Visa say that they even want to do business with this kind of thing?
There are better and better KYC, AML processes going all around it. Every
KYC
exchange.
being know your customer, AML being
anti-money
laundering.
Thank you.
So the true Bitcoin believer or zealot, one of the most important things is decentralization and the distributed and the peer-to-peer.
Right.
And Facebook doesn't have any of that. And what got me to be much more of a believer was the things that Libra doesn't have. You're saying it was just having it become mainstream causes Bitcoin to rally again. I thought it pointed out the benefit to me. It pointed out everything that Libra isn't, pointed out to me how great Bitcoin is. And you don't see it that way.
Listen, I think Bitcoin has got a unique spot in that it's the first cryptocurrency. It doesn't have to change to fulfill its destiny, right? Its destiny is just to be gold.
But decentralization, you want Mark Zuckerberg and other people actually at the center of all this, when the beauty of Bitcoin is that it's distributed.
Bitcoin is sovereign,
blockchain.
and it's pretty cool. Listen, the Libra Association will have 100 votes, so it'll be distributed, maybe not decentralized. They plan on decentralizing it over time. What's tricky is the Facebook wallet, right, which is where they'll make their money, will probably be a large part of commerce that's done on that blockchain. And so
how correlated do you think Bitcoin's price is today with the highs we're seeing in the stock market?
I think there's some correlation based on just risk frenzy, testosterone, right? When you're making money. Listen, you look at this chart of the stock market, and it looks like we get anything benign out of this weekend, or even anything that's not bad, and the stock market's going to rip to the upside, right? People are still short. Market's rarely triple top,
right?
And it looks like a triple top.
Are you longer the stock market right now or Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. I am. And Bitcoin's had a big run. Listen, if you were perfect, you would have sold a whole bunch yesterday and been waiting to buy it back at 10,000, 11,000.
So you actively trade in and out?
I don't actively trade that often, but when you go parabolic, you have to. Right? I mean, markets don't go straight up like this forever.
When you send your billionaire guilt check to the U.S. Treasury voluntarily, will it be Bitcoin or will you use fiat money?
Unfortunately, every time you take profit in Bitcoin, you pay taxes in dollars.
Right. What do you mean, unfortunately? That makes it even better for you.
Unless you sell your Bitcoin in some other place where you don't have to.
That was a reference.
A lot of people don't pay tax. Every time I get on stage, I say, pay your tax.
I know, we all do. Unless we go to jail.
Congrats. Thank you for being here this morning. Really appreciate it.